Yo, there's something beautiful about Bearcats basketball. High flying.
Kenyon with a jam.
Shot denying.
Miles rejected.
There's just an energy that comes with the Cats. A rich history built on toughness.
And Mick Cronin looks like he wants a technical.
A bring-your-own-lunch pail mentality. For a long time, UC was the hunted.
And I felt that we couldn't lose.
I think it's time the Bearcats do a little hunting of their own.
Once y'all done with them, send them to me, man. You know what I mean? We can put them on the court. Keep that Bearcat thing going.
I am fired up.
Takes it all the way. Oh! It's going to be Little.
I wonder how Steve Logan would be over in Afghanistan or somewhere. I bet he'd be pretty poised. He just does not get rattled.
Van Exel, he'll cut it loose. Watch out. Stevenson cuts it about. Oh! Kilpatrick outruns everybody. Johnson, the exclamation point.
We've been dealt the king of heartbreak over and over again.
Rozier. Smith and
Everything they worked for was undone on one play.
But I see the light. The Cats are back. Lukosius, open three, got it! Oh, baby! Welcome to the only live Bearcats postgame show on YouTube. This is Chatterbox Bearcats.
Welcome into Chatterbox Bearcats. I'm your host tonight, Nick Niehaus, joined by Eric Lilly, a.k.a. Bearcat Bunch. The Chatterbox Bearcats crew is going live all portal season for departures, entries, breaking news, all sorts of stuff. And also, my co-host tonight, Eric Lilly, on Twitter, Bearcat Bunch, has the tracker portal. He's killing it this portal season, offering the best updates, follows on social media, everything you need to know about who we're in on, who we're targeting, who we could possibly land, and also, of course, who is leaving. Now, Houdini called it, Lily. If you listened to yesterday's show, he said he thought it was going to be Black Monday, a mass exodus. And that's exactly what ensued. 3 Bearcats entered the transfer portal today. Most notably, Dan Skillings, Josh Reed, and then, of course, also Rayvon Griffith. All 3 of them leaving Cincinnati. Let's start with the most impactful, in my opinion, and probably the least shocking. Dan Skillings is taking his talents elsewhere. Lily, you were probably the last member of the Dan Skillings Jr. fan club. What are your thoughts on him leaving us?
I probably was. Last year, I loved Dan. I thought he had a breakout season. And when guys like get better like that, I just get excited, think that like it's going to continue, because usually the stars that come out of nowhere, that's what happens. It didn't happen with Dan. Hard to tell really what's going on with him. I think it's, to really succeed at the highest level, you have to take basketball extremely seriously. And, there's speculation there. It could be something like that. And towards the end of the year, he kind of like, the thing with Dan is like, he wasn't a locker room cancer to me, I don't think. I truly think he just wanted a huge role, but didn't like produce for that. And I actually felt bad down the stretch there, because you could tell he was toning himself back a little, trying to be a little more calculated with what he does on the court. You can still tell he didn't start playing basketball till later on in his life. He has questionable decision-making at times, but you can also see the talent. So seeing him like tone it back a little at the end made me sad. But at the end of the day, and this is coming from the biggest Dan guy there was, it's just time to move on. He might be great somewhere else. He might continue to be what he is. I'll be rooting for him as long as he's not playing UC personally. I've got nothing against the guy. I see it's just it was time to move on. And I see some people saying, well, you could try to fix him here. No. Sometimes this Wes Miller's job is on the line, and we need more disciplined, surefire production from our starting players. So I think it's just he has a spot, and we got to try to upgrade it.
I think it's time to move on as well. And I don't think a lot of people are going to disagree with you. I do think that it was kind of unfair for him. He kind of hurt himself, I guess, is what I'm going to say here with his comments during the UC baseball broadcast last year that kind of just got blown up, where he's like, this is going to be my last year in college. I'm off to the NBA. Because you say that on broadcast, and then somebody picks it up, then another person tells another person who tells another person that you have all of these expectations that you're just going to go to the NBA. You know what? Hey, I got one more year in Clifton, then first rounder I am. Like, it's not that easy. And obviously, all of those expectations got placed on him because of one single comment that he probably wishes he had back. So I think that kind of shot himself in the foot, because had he not said that, I feel like we're going into this year where it's like, yeah, Dan Skillings is probably our best player, but it's not this kid thinks he's NBA bound and should act like it and should play like it. Like, nobody's going to be saying that about him. So I think that is one unfortunate mistake, but it's not that big of a deal. But I do think that kind of carried some weight in terms of how fans treated him this year. Me as well, because it was kind of like, this guy thinks he's NBA bound, and yet the play on the court did not live up to that, right? It simply did not. So I think that was tough. But what's funny, Lily, is that we get a tweet from Jeff Borzello from ESPN, who said all of these programs are after him, like Florida and
Baylor, Gonzaga, LSU,
Baylor.
Alabama.
Crazy. Blue blood programs are after Dan Skillings Jr. So it's like, do they think they're going to fix him, or is he going to take a smaller role? Somebody's like, I don't know if he's going to take any money. To that, I'm like, he's definitely taking a bag. Like, I don't know if it's going to be more than UC would give him or less, but interesting that he is getting high major looks. So somebody thinks that he's going to be a, high level player. What are your thoughts on the teams that are after him?
I expected it. This was a Trilly Discord debate a little while ago. Some people were saying like St. Bonaventure soon, like St. Joe's soon. Coaches are insane. Like, I think the average fan just doesn't realize how crazy these people are to do what they do at that level with all the pressure. And they are all extremely confident, just like the players. And when you get like to the blue blood level and right below that, like those, the Baylors, the Gonzagas, whether you want to call Gonzaga blue blood or not, whatever. Those coaches see the flashes and think they can fix the other stuff, like every single one of them. So I had no doubt that he would go up, or at least, somewhere like us. But we'll see where he ends up. The way they released that list strongly suggests the agent trying to like really buzz up interest for him. You never know. This could just be not real. We'll see. I think he'll end up at a good spot. I just hope he picks the right coach he needs a different type of coach. Let's put it that way.
And I don't want to just spew out other people's takes, but Chuck and Houdini have been saying it all year long towards the end of the season. Like, Skillings is going to go somewhere and average 16 and 10. You know what I mean? I think that's the take that everybody has right now, is that I just didn't think it worked here in Cincinnati with Wes Miller on this specific team, but it seems like they made the joke that he's going to go to NC State and average 15 and 10. I'm pretty sure is what Houdini said on this very broadcast, but I don't know, Lily. I don't know what more there is to say. I mean, he had, I guess, if you take out this year, a good career here in Cincinnati. You want to, I guess, focus on the positives, right? I don't want to come on here and every single, departure of UC, I'm just going to rag, right? Because it would be easy to do so considering the year we had. But do you have any fond memories of Dan Skillings Jr.? I think there's one obvious one, right? Like he did provide us one amazing highlight. I hope you are picking up what I'm dropping here. Like there's one thing I'm going to look at. Hopefully not that impactful because we'll win more of these, but you know what I'm talking about?
Honestly, I have no clue. My brain is fried from work.
The crosstown shootout free throw.
Of course.
The crosstown shootout free throw.
That
was
the meme.
An all-time play. An all-time play from Dan Skillings Jr., where he admitted he left early. Doesn't matter. We deserved a call like that. Anyway, moving on.
I was thinking of what the game where he went the Kansas conference tournament game last year.
Yeah.
And I forgot about Xavier's reaction to the free throw. So, yeah, that was a great moment. That was great.
Well, hey, look, I put you on the spot. And if you ask me, there was no chance I'm answering that question. But I just that's one thing I saw today. And I'm like, you know what? Dan did give us something this year. He literally probably won us the game for, the crosstown shootout this year. Moving on, though, let's talk about Rayvon next, because I have seen take after take about what it meant for a hometown guy to leave Cincinnati. And I'm curious your thoughts on Rayvon Griffith entering the portal. I feel like it's a little heightened considering he grew up here.
For sure. And it does matter, especially like these expanded rosters. It'd be cool to have a guy or two every year. The way he announced on Twitter, just for people who don't know, they might have just seen the Instagram, is he left it open to returning. And I don't know. I'm not going to say it's happening, but like I think it actually is an option for him. Like say he's going around shopping around the MAC, Dayton, and he's not liking what he's hearing, whether it's NIL wise or minutes wise. There's a chance he comes back and tries to fight for his spot here one more year, and then if it doesn't work out, leave next year. That's the thing about home, like it's possible. But this is a tough one for me. Like the part of me wants to say stay here and try to get it, man, because he does have some stuff. I love the motor. I love the energy. We needed that this year, and he was bringing it when he was in. But he seems like a 4 to me. Unless he figures out his shot, he seems like a 4 to me, and he is pretty undersized in this league. I really think if he went to the MAC, he would go crazy and may be able to go back up once you establish what you are to people. Like right now, people are watching small highlights. They don't really know what he is yet. So the big decision here is, do you want to go play more minutes at a lower level and go back up, or do you want to try to fight for it here at home? I respect him either way. And I'm not, from UC's perspective, I don't know. I think he's a tweener at this level, so I'm not losing sleep over it, but I thought it'd be cool if he stayed and ended up getting into the rotation.
I can definitely see him coming back. Do you put any stake in the whole? I mean, a take going around the internet is like, this says a lot about Wes Miller and his ability to, or like it says a lot about him with the hometown talent, like not being able to keep them all. I'm just seeing all these crazy takes, and I put nothing in that. I put no stake in that. I don't think, look how many high impact basketball players, football is one thing, right? You field, 22 guys, like there's 5 spots. Yancey Gates obviously comes to mind, but like, I just don't see I don't see that being the biggest deal. Is that a hometown guy is leaving? Like, I don't think that reflects any bit on Wes. I think he's just trying to get more PT somewhere else. Do you put any stake in that take that like this is going to affect Wes by any means, considering he's from Cincinnati?
I think the fact that the door is still open says a lot. I think this is probably amicable, mutual. They probably talked together, presented the role, and Rayvon's like, let me check other things out. Maybe I'll come back. Something like that, if I had to guess. And in terms of how Wes treated Rayvon this year, I do think Wes needs to play his rotation, his bench a little more out of conference to really give guys opportunities. Because Rayvon wasn't really playing that much out of conference, you know? And then he got in conference when it was a train wreck and we just needed some energy, which he surely has. Like, we all know that. But we still don't know what he is. If he would have played more against, I don't know. Trying to think of a random team we played. Did we play Stetson? I'm just going to say we played Stetson. Playing more against teams like that and let a guy like really try to earn his minutes on the court, not just the practice court. But I don't think it was egregious, and I really don't think that like it stunted his development or anything like that. I personally,
I agree with you. So the third portal exit of the day, Josh Reed. Much like the additions we got on Sunday, I feel like this is one that the fan base will be split right down the middle on in terms of their take, right? Josh Reed leaving Cincinnati, obviously an amazing 3 to 4 game stretch he had as a Bearcat this year.
It was like Linsanity, man.
It was. But Josh Reed exploring other options. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm okay with it. First of all, shout out Christian Wolf for the donation. I'm going to answer this question he threw in the chat because I waited to answer it because it's a Josh Reed question. He says, can Harris fill Josh Reed's role? He's talking about Sincere Harris. We just got a recording error, by the way. So I think Harris is kind of like Josh Reed defensively for us next year. Josh was guarding perimeter players. He could guard a guard. I don't think it's a direct thing, though, because Sincere does play some two. He played – a lot of people keep calling him a shooting guard, and our ones and twos are like, he's not going to play much. He played more minutes at the 3 this year for West Virginia than the 2. Jonathan Powell is playing the 2. So he's going to play a lot of 3, which Josh Reed did as well. So his versatility on defense is huge. Reminds me of Josh Reed, just way better. But if you do want to say Harris to Reed to Harris, it's a very big upgrade in my opinion, just because Harris is an elite defender. And, Reed did get better at 3s, but come on, let's be honest here. So one more thing I want to say about Reed is I'm not losing sleep over this either. I thought it'd be cool, similar to Rayvon, if he stayed to be depth. But something I think we need to remind ourselves of is Josh was not really in the rotation at the beginning of the Big 12. He played he didn't play versus Dayton, didn't play versus Xavier, didn't play versus Arizona, played 3 minutes versus Baylor. And then the year before, he wasn't really playing much going into the conference play again. And I think we have this twisted view of Reed as a rotation player when all he was in the rotation because everything else was a disaster. I don't think he won the job. I think it was like, well, got to try this guy. And he does the right things on offense,
You're
he's
so
in
damn
the right
smart,
places.
Lily. You're so damn
he's
smart.
in the right
Lily.
places. He can guard the right guys. He's not going to like really burn you, right? But we need more Big 12 players, and he's not one. That's how I look at it.
When you're listening to the audio podcast of this version, obviously that was not my voice. Chuck Walter has joined the program. How are we doing, Chuck? Chuck, we're talking about portal exits. You were one infamously in the group chat worrying about Wes running it back. We are 3 exits today. What are your thoughts on that?
It's a great day to be a Cincinnati Bearcats fan. That's my number one takeaway. When I look at this piece by piece, Rayvon Griffith wasn't good enough. Will he ever be good enough? I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked to see him go down a level. Just didn't look like he had it physically. Didn't look like that the handles were necessarily there. If the shot isn't going to be elite, then it's like, I know he could play above the rim and he's super athletic, but he just didn't look the part. Now, can he? We'll see. Josh Reed,
he's never going to look the part. Like he's scrappy. He was the best version of himself. I thank him for all his contributions. He was solid. Like he proved that he could play in the Big 12. But if you can upgrade, go upgrade. You know, that's the way I look at it. And then Dan Skillings, like, I think Dan's going to be good, quite frankly. You've seen some of the schools that have hit him up, Bama, Florida. Like, I think he's legit. But look, our coach did not get the best out of him, and it's time for our coach to go find someone else that hopefully he can get the best out of. Wes Miller knows that this is his last hurrah. He does not have time to fix Dan Skillings. He does not have time to try and cobble together wins with Josh Reed. And he does not have time to, have a scholarship sitting on the bench for 95% of the season, if that was his plan for Rayvon Griffith this upcoming season. So I like what he's doing. I like the fact that he's like, let's turn this entire thing over. We'll bring back Jizzle. We'll bring back Day-Day. We'll bring back Tyler McKinley. I wouldn't be shocked if he just brought back Betsy at this point, and the whole not playing in the Crown was just due to him being a freshman. Could be completely off there. Lily can speak to that. But I like what UC did today. It frees up some roster spots, which means it gives us some more content. That's all I have in me, fellas. I got to run and do some other things, but I did want to pop in there and give my thoughts that over the last 24 hours, I do think UC has gotten better with their 2 additions and their 3 departures. Bearcats forever. You'll always be a Bearcat forever, even if you're Hernal Hall, or Jamal Warren, or Timmy Crowell. You're a Bearcat forever, but we got better. That's all I got to say.
Defensive stopper right there.
You know it.
And farewell to baby Zion, right, Chuck?
Farewell. It was fun while it lasted. And the moon balls that hit the Jumbotron, no more.
No more. How about that? Enters and leaves just like that. That's Chuck Walter, everybody. He brought up something interesting. Frees up scholarships. Lily, Dan Skillings leaving frees up some cash, right? I that's one major takeaway I have for these 3 departures. I don't know how much Rayvon and Josh Reed were getting paid. I don't know how much Dan Skillings was getting paid. Not public information. I mean, obviously there's numbers that you're told. But Dan Skillings was obviously one of the more expensive players on this roster. Is that what at the top of your mind when you hear that Skillings is leaving? Is that, hey, we got this amount of money to go after a big man? Because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, and also role. Like we talk about NIL a lot right now because it's the hot thing to talk about. And the rumor with Skillings is 500. So, that's a chunk of change, even with the rumor of 6 to 7 for this year. So that's a chunk of change for real. Like, and guys are getting raises just because the market's crazy too. Like, even if they don't deserve it, production wise. So yes, we need the money to be spent on different types of players. That core of like big players that we had last year, it had to be blown up, but some form of it had to go. That's why I kept saying, like, I'm not worried about running it back because at least one of these guys was going to leave, and Dan's the first big one. We'll see. I feel like more's coming here. To Christian Wolf's question, thanks again, Christian. Is Page gone? He's not gone yet, but I'd be shocked if he returned. I mean, if the scenario of him returning is the center market is dog shit, which it is, and we just decide to just be like, hey, Arrington, want to give it one more shot? I don't think that's going to happen. And Chuck mentioned Betsy as well. I don't see that happening either. But, portal season's crazy. We hear rumors. We've heard rumors for both sides of every player on the roster, basically, that they will stay or they'll leave. We don't know. Maybe we find out more tonight or tomorrow. It sure got off to a quick start today.
It definitely did. And I set the over-under of portal exits at 4.5. So if you're keeping track at home, I hope you took the over. I hope you took the over because we are expecting 2, maybe 3 more hitting the portal at this point. Let's talk about the entries because you didn't get to yesterday. We went live without you. Unfortunately, I know you had takes galore. I know you have the analytics. What do you think about, let's start with Kirk Kriisa. He's somebody that is definitely volatile in the fan base. I am one who is fully on board. I tweeted last night, I think I'm going to be his number one fan, even though I've been saying all year long that I learned my lesson, not getting too high on any single player that UC lands. I already lied to myself. What do you think about Kirk Kriisa?
I like it. So I see a lot of people not liking it, though. I think people will talk themselves into this like we usually do. But there's stuff to talk about here because we've had this issue with the Jizzle Day thing, right? Like we all wanted it and now it didn't work and it looked like it was working sometimes. The thing that neither of them have is that pure point guard ability to pass and create. And a lot of the anxiety, like just even 2 days ago, was about, are we really running it back with this backcourt? Are they going to get much better to where we can have a more dynamic offense? And I was not expecting us to add a point guard. I love it. He passes really well. He was like second in the Pac-12 in assists a couple years ago, or first. 82nd in assist rate at West Virginia last year. And West Virginia didn't exactly have like a dynamic offense, but he's been ranked nationally in assist rate every year of his career after his freshman season, and obviously not this year. So 3 years in a row, and he makes threes. Shoots a lot of them too. He has made 250 threes in his career. This is a veteran. He's old. He joked about it in his commitment, how old he is. And a leader. And I didn't even mention the part that I'm excited about most is I'm going to make a comparison here that might upset some people. You guys ever see how much Xavier fans love JP Mikura? He has that. Like the thing where every other fan base in the conference hates him, but your fans love the guy. You'll die for him. He has that. He also has injury concerns. So like if he's on the court and has that edge, gets under the skin, gets the other team to get a tech, the ref comes over, talks to him, get a little extra time to talk things through for the other guys. He is a master of the dark arts. We have not had a player like that in a long time. And I just think we need stuff like that. Like it goes along with leadership. We don't have that either. I think he'll bring a little of that as well. But I'm excited. It's a different thing. And he complements the point guard room with two things that we don't really have.
Yeah, I'm glad you made that comparison because it will upset people, but it is accurate. It truly is. And I'm also glad you mentioned his passing ability. I accidentally said on yesterday's show he's a ball stopper because I was talking about him and Sean Abayev. That was I was an accident. I did not mean to say this. So if you heard me and you're like, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about, hand up. Accidental take, bad take. He averaged over 5 assists a game in a year. He's entering the team as the best passer, the best facilitator, the best playmaker easily. And I think we were talking, and look, he might earn the starting PG role, but like at this point you would think maybe backup, but still he's our best passer. He's our best facilitator, best playmaker. Oh, and also if he shoots like he did at West Virginia, he's our best shooter. So great addition. Great addition. I don't understand the hate. I think it's just because people hated him. You know what I mean? Like just how he acted. I love it. I think we need more of it. I said it on yesterday's show. I felt like these players were okay with losing. He's not. So, I love it. Now, somebody else who's not okay with losing, Sincere Harris. We also got Sincere Harris from West Virginia. Baby. Winner. You ran through his accolades, Lily. You want to talk like he won what? 2 state championships? I didn't make that up, right?
Yep. St. Vincent St. Mary. Not sure if you've heard of that high school before. Won back-to-back there. Got to the tournament as a freshman at Illinois. Sat out the year after with an injury, I believe. And then, guys, he made the tournament this year, right? Sorry, Mountaineers fans. That's still a robbery. Leadership is hard to identify as fans, but a guy that defends like that at that level and has been on those winning teams his last 4 years that he's played, I'm sorry. He's a better leader than most of our players in my book. Like accountability, standards. Both of these players have that, and they both have that edge. The dog that we're talking about. I'm gonna make some analytics for this. I'm calling it X-dog, expected dog per game. We're gonna do that. I've got to decide how I want to quantify this, but
maybe like
they've got
WAR
it.
in baseball, like wins above replacement. Like that's how you quantify it. Like,
yeah, and we're just gonna go based off that baseline of dog.
Yeah,
they're both above 0, and like think about the dead crowds we saw towards the end of the year, the groans and the moans. These are the type of players that get people excited, get the fans going, and we just haven't had that. Like, just think about the Goon Squad back in the day, like before the game even starts, dancing with the fans and stuff. Like, maybe, I mean, obviously, it might not happen, but you need to get guys like this for that to happen. So, good start, I think. On paper, it looks really weird, so I see why people are still upset. I'm going to wait and see. Like, I'm not saying this is like some grand slam. I want to hear the rumors on the prices and stuff like that. But good start for me.
Good start.
Good start.
I think so. I think it's a good start. Good start, Wes. Well, let's continue. Who are we linked to? I know you got the portal tracker. It's unbelievable the coverage you are providing Cincinnati Bearcat fans. Follow them on Twitter at Bearcat Bunch. As soon as Jizzle James follows somebody on Instagram, Lily's texting us. It's crazy. It's like it's almost too crazy, Lily. It's almost too crazy. But you know what? I respect the game.
It's a little embarrassing, but I appreciate the shout out. I've got a couple guys helping me on this stuff too. I'm not just sitting here all day looking at the computer,
monitoring.
Yeah, but follows matter. Like some of the stuff matters, and you know, a lot of these links on the spreadsheet, guys, I did this last year too as an experiment. Almost all of them are bullshit, or agent favors, or if you look at the first 10 names, like one of them was probably a real target, Jalen Sellers. But there are things to me that mean more. And when players start following other players, they're talking to them. The coaches probably told them to do that. So Jizzle James followed Jalen Celestine today after Andre Morgan followed him a couple days ago. He was a wing for Baylor. He played the 4 too, small ball 4. He's a little bigger than the guys we brought in, 6'7", 215, so he's not like huge. But, I mean, we're talking about small ball 4 lineups mostly. He can shoot the ball. Veteran of the Big 12. We know he can play at this level. That's what we don't have right now. So we're trying to get these guys in because we were playing 7 guys this year, like 8 guys. And we thought we were deep. We weren't. So we need more sure things. Jalen Celestine is that. Also, Brandon Garrison today, Jizzle followed, big man for Kentucky. He was at Oklahoma State last year. He beat us in our home arena, and we were recruiting him in the portal right after that. So there is a connection there. And also Kirk Risa was his point guard last year. I don't know. That would be a pretty big pool just for people who aren't aware of Brandon Garrison. He was a high 4-star, low 5-star out of high school. He had production at Oklahoma State. He was the backup at Kentucky, a top 20 team. That's the type of guy that like Corey Evans might be looking at, like someone with NBA pedigree, like NBA measurables that just kind of hasn't gotten this big opportunity yet. I would be thrilled with either of those guys personally. They fit what we want. He started shooting threes this year, so big man who shoots threes. Let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens. Those would be obviously big gets in the transfer portal. Now, also, speaking of like Jizzle James following these guys, I know we briefly mentioned it yesterday, but he reposted it was Kirk Creesa or was it Sincere Harris? Either way, he posted one of those two on his Instagram. He said, "You know what we on, twin." And now that
Sincere
phrase is officially dead since I said it out loud. But that's I guess, good news. Jizzle James coming back. I guess that people might be a little, I think majority would be good with that, right? I'm somebody who, I think I said it last week, that I think the usage rate was extremely high due to the fact that nobody else could get a bucket. So I think if we have other guys, who can also put the ball through the hoop, Jizzle James is obviously somebody you want on your roster, considering he was just a sophomore. Anything else, Lily, before we head out? We have 3 people leaving the program: Dan Skillings, Rayvon Griffith, Josh Reed. 2 coming in. More scholarships to be used, more NIL to be used. Anything heading out of the show?
Yeah, just stay locked in, guys. The staff seems to want to be quiet right now, for whatever reason. I think just to maybe try to lock up their guys without other teams knowing, possibly. Kind of like what the football team does. And on the spreadsheet, we can see the positions. Right now there are 2 centers. One is Sean Phillips of Arizona State. He's from Ohio, Dayton actually, and Brandon Garrison. Those are the only 2 centers. There's a chance we have a Kirk Creesa situation here with the big man any day, and it also could take a month or 2 if we go for an international guy, which would be miserable as a fan. But stay locked in. Stuff could just pop out of nowhere again. And yeah, check out all of us on Twitter. Follow the spreadsheet, like, subscribe, all the good stuff.
Absolutely. I was just going to say that. Like the stream. Give us a 5-star review anywhere you get your audio podcasts. That's all I got. Lily, actually, one little thought for the road. None of this matters unless you get a big man. I think that's the final thought. I know Lily agrees with me. We are desperate for a 5. 2 of them. 2 5s. But that's it, guys. Make sure you like the stream like I just mentioned. Give us a 5-star review. It goes a long way for us. Thanks for joining us tonight. Have a good night.